What's up, guys? Welcome back. I'm back here at Kia of Bradenton, Florida. I'm super excited today because they just got this. This is a 2023 Kia Telluride, also known as a Telluride, and I really wanted to do it really quick, even though this vehicle hasn't been washed or anything like this, because they call it Telluride for a reason. They usually sell within hours, so I only have a very limited time with it. But today I'm going to take on a complete tour of this vehicle. I'm going to tell you what changed from 2022 to 2023, as well as show you all the other options that are available on this vehicle. Now, the one that we have here is an EX X-Line package, and I really like the design of it, don't you? Well, let's get to this vehicle, but before we do that, guys, if you like watching automotive content, my name is Matt, and here at Matt the Carguy, I post 2 car reviews every single week. So if you enjoy watching stuff like this, do me a favor, check out the rest of my channel, consider subscribing, and if you like this video, give me a like as well. Now let's get back to this. Check it out, guys, the first thing that you see right away, and that's why I have this Christmas tree display going on, because the first thing that's different about this vehicle versus the 2022 are the lights. So you have the completely new light setup. First of all, they got rid of this halo that were around this amber halo, the turn signal, and the daytime running lights are the 2 at the bottom. They also serve as a turn signal, which you can see on the other light that's blinking. Then you have your regular headlights and the high beams. That's all incorporated in this one headlight unit over here. So it looks pretty cool, right? As far as the rest of it, nothing has really changed. As far as the top over here, the hood is still the same, still has this nice grooves on both sides, kind of make it that more masculine look. But what has changed is the grille. Now, the grille is different for different trim levels. So if you see an S or an LX, it's going to look different than this one. And this is a piano black on this particular one, surrounded in this gunpowder metal trim, looking really good. Big Kia logo over here, and of course the front bottom portion of the bumper is completely different than it was on 2022 model year. Now, this is only a trim piece, it's non-functional, but it looks really nice. Let's see what powers up this thing. So underneath the hood, you'll find a 3.8 liter V6 naturally aspirated engine that we've seen on the previous model years, 291 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed electronic control transmission. Now, let's take a look over here. So you do have hood struts holding up this hood nice and tall. You do have some sound insulation over here. Okay, one thing to mention, towing capacity on this model is about 5,000 pounds. If you go with that Pro X-Line package, then you get about 5,500 pounds, but that's still pretty impressive. There's no changes on the side of this vehicle. It looks the same as the previous generation one. So what we have here is the EX X-Line model. So let's take a look at what we have. First of all, the wheel and tire setup. You have this upgraded 20-inch rims, shiny black rims. That's a part of this X-Line package. 245 by 50 is the size of the tires, and you do have the regular all-season tires. Now, the matte black trimming that continues around the wheels, as well as the bottom part of the vehicle, really fits with this particular one. Now, you might hear me saying some of the vehicles that look good, some of them they don't. It is my personal opinion, but I think that's because this is kind of a combination of an off-road vehicle with a regular urban SUV to get your kids to school and back. This kind of accentuates that ruggedness of it. And then at the bottom, you have the same trim color as you see on the front grille. What's different is you have this dark smoked chrome. I'm not sure if that's the actual color of it, but that's surrounding the windows, and it looks really, really good. It's kind of shiny, but it's not the regular piano black. Now, as far as the mirrors, you have the tops of them, they're the same color as the rest of the car. The bottom of it is matte black, and then you have this turn signal. You also have the blind spot indicator over here, and then the vehicle is equipped with the smart entry system. So as long as you have the key on you, you can actually lock or unlock this vehicle without pressing any buttons on the new key, which we're going to get to in just a minute. Now, also what's different on the X-Line, that you do have the self-leveling rear suspension and the tow mode, so it's actually prepared for some towing over here. So I mentioned the key, and Kia has changed their key for 2023, and this is how it looks like right now. So it still has the buttons on the side, but it's a completely different design. It's a little bit bigger than what it was, but it's also a little bit lighter. Well, you know, they like changing their keys every couple years. I'm not sure why. We can see some differences in the back end, but generally it's basically the same from basically here to down there. It still has the third brake light incorporated in the gate spoiler. It does have the exposed wiper. I kind of wish they hide it underneath here. Kia Telluride spelled out, as we've seen on the previous generation one. You do have this nice LED light setup. I don't know if it's me, but I think they've been updated. They look brighter. So you have your tail lights, you have your turn signals over here, and your reverse lights and the reflector lights are at the bottom. And this is the portion that was changed for 2023. So redesigned rear bumper. You still have the exposed exhaust on one side, and there is no tow package in here, but this X-Line is has a tow mode, so it's a tow ready, and if it would have the tow hitch, it could tow up to 5,500 pounds. So that's actually pretty good. Now let's see how much room we have inside. Check this out. So roominess on this car hasn't changed. Obviously it has the same sheet metal dimensions and stuff like this, and this one is a 7-seating configuration if you can fit 3 people in the third row seat. Now, 2 in the middle captain chairs, 2 in the front. What do we have in the back here? First of all, let's start underneath here. So you have an additional storage compartment. Now, if you're worried about this vehicle not having a spare tire, it does have it. It's actually located right underneath here. So as you can see, you don't have to worry, it does have one. And you know, if you look at here, you can actually fold down second row seats from here. I'm not sure if that's new or if that has been with Telluride before. Power outlet over here, and this is your tools to remove the tire. Now we can fold the third row seats down, basically drop them down. It's easy, okay? And we can also fold the second row seats down. Now I have the front seats pushed back too far, so they're not gonna actually fold all the way flat, but you get the idea. This is how much room you have in with the 2 row seats folded basically. Now you have USB cables for the third row passengers as well as the cup holders, so that is also on both sides. There's no shortage of room in the back seat here. As you can see, I'm 6 feet tall. This is how I normally drive, and I have the seat adjusted to my regular driving position. I have about 3 inches between my knees and the seats over here. It does have plenty of shoulder room, plenty of headroom, so no complaints here. This seat is also adjustable, so you can move it front and back, and if I wanted to give a little bit more room to the third row passengers. So let's get inside and let's check out the rest of this interior. Well, let's check out the rear door panel right here. So first of all, you have a nice combination of black, gray, a little bit of polished aluminum. You do have this manual sunshade over here, which is really nice and useful. And then you have this trim piece that's going to continue through some of the other parts of the vehicle as well. Regular setup as far as the windows over here, and then you do have a Telluride branded speaker. At the bottom of the door, you have some storage for like a water bottle or something. And then if you move inside of here, you can see this has the leather interior. Now some of the lower trim levels are going to have the syntax material, and the higher end levels is going to have different kinds of leather. So now if you wanted to actually move this seat forward, all you have to do is push the button, and this is going to allow you access to the third row seat. Now we have it folded, and let's unfold the third row seat. Well, and this is what you'll get with the third row seat unfolded. You're gonna have technically room for 2 people. It does have 3 seat belts, but the third person would probably be very uncomfortable. But I want to point out one thing. Now, it does have a lot more room. Now, this seat is not all the way back, but if you wanted to have a person in the third row seat, I can actually fit in there and not have my knees smashed by the second row seat. So it is pretty spacious the way that they designed it. Now let's move to the second row seat. Let's see what else we have. See, this seat can actually be moved back probably another 4 inches. So it will be tight with the seat all the way back, but without it, it's pretty cool. All right, so what do we have here is you do have the cigarette lighter styled power outlet over here. You have a cup holders, and if you're looking for the vents, they're actually up on top. So up on top, you have your also climate control settings. So that's where you can adjust your temperature for the rear passengers, the vent settings, etc. And you have your lights over here as well. These are LED lights. And the third row seats that I didn't mention also have their own vents up on top, which is very, very important. Now, if you look at the seat backs, you not only have the seat back storage, but you also have a little hooks over here. And like we've seen on other previous generation ones, you do have the USB ports right here. Now, those are USB-Cs. I believe they used to be USB Type A's before. So let's not forget about checking the quality of this vehicle by closing its door and hearing how it sounds, and it is a nice and solid thump. Okay, I do have a key in my pocket, so that's why it's making all this noise, but the front door panel basically kind of like the rear door panel, with the exception that you have your full window mirror, door lock controls, etc. Still a Telluride branded speaker, nicely wrapped armrest, and this is basically very nice and plush, and then a little bit more storage right in the bottom portion of the door. So if you look at the seats, they are power seats, and I like the leather and I like the design of the seat. So you have this stitched leather perforated X-Line. That's basically the EX X-Line trim that we have over here. So that's embossed in this seat over here. And then finally we have this new interior. So before we jump in, let's see what else we have. So this vehicle does have a tow mode over here, and it also has the hill descent assist, it has the gate opener, and does have the traction control button off. This is for your display. This is your to adjust the brightness of it, and then all you have here is the steering wheel. That's tilt and telescoping. It is a manual adjustment over here. So let's jump in. Check it out, guys. 2023 Kia Telluride interior. Right away you can see it's different. It does have this dual screens, which we didn't have in the last year's model. So let's start over here. Let's start with steering wheel. Steering wheel feels good to the touch. It has several buttons both on the right and left hand side of it. Big Kia logo over here. On the left hand side of the steering wheel we have the mode and the start button. They're both customizable, so you can adjust it and set it up to several different options that are available. You have the voice control button as well as the phone pickup button, and this is your volume control and the mute button, and this is basically adjusting the tracks, different radio station, etc. On the right hand side you have the pages button, and that controls what's going on right in front of you in the instrument cluster. We'll go through that in just a second. Cruise control, and then this is your different tracks, pause and replay, and you know, we can obviously go up and down and hit OK to select a certain feature on it. So you have the lane keep assist and the dynamic cruise control. I don't see any shifters in the back and the pedal shifters, so you do have the manual shift mode on the actual shifter. So let's check it out. So this is first off the two displays over here. So you have the 12.3 inch displays. Here it is. Let's check this out. Let's see what we have. Drive info. You have the navigation compass, tire pressure, just a regular lane keep assist, and that's it. You go back to the drive info. And I believe we can customize that screen to something else, but we'll check it out in the main infotainment system, which is right here. So this is new too, right? I mean, we have the same software basically, but just a different displays. And let's see, confirm over here. We're going to a user profile. This is the first time setting it up, guys. Basically, this vehicle just came off the truck. Skip setting profile, Yeah, we can skip that. And we're just going to show you off what's available. So first of all, you can see, you know, this is your main screen, so you have your time, date, etc. And here's your main menu. So you have map, navigation, phone projection. All right, let's see. Please connect a phone that supports Android Auto, Apple CarPlay using an approved USB cable. I thought Apple CarPlay was actually a wireless connection, but could be wrong. So map, okay, and you can actually make it the full screen. Really nice, bright, visible. Go back to the home screen. Navigation menu, several different ways to find your destination. We go to phone projection, voice memo. This is a pretty cool feature. It allows you to record a short recording and retrieve it later. Then we have a climate control. And here's the settings for the climate control over here. So you can adjust it from here. You can also adjust it from down below. And several different options that are available. You know, obviously the automatic different vent settings. Okay, so this is more nicer visual representation of what's going on and where the air is coming out of. You can sync it, you know, outside 57 degrees, yesterday was 90. Crazy weather here in Florida. All right, valet mode, quiet mode, basically turns off the rear speakers and adjusts the front speakers to a lower setting so we don't disturb anybody that's in the back. You can also control the rear climate control. It's a separate icon for here. And let's go back, HD radio data. By the way, as far as the radio, again, this is non-branded radio, but as far as the different available options, you have the FM, AM, and of course the Sirius XM option. Setup, media, Kia Connect. So let's go to setup for a second here. I want to see if we can change the instrument cluster. Screen layout and display, let's see. So color, theme, cluster theme selection, that's basically for here. So we're going to link it to the drive mode. Okay, so that's where we're at. Media, Kia Connect notifications and users manual basically displays a QR code that you can scan. So different settings are available for the instrument cluster, but they are connected to the drive mode. So let's switch the drive modes and see what they look like. And we have a following drive modes. I'm going to show you that. Comfort, Eco, so starting up on top, Smart, Sport, Comfort, Eco, and Snow. And the only differences that I can see is actually the color of the display. There's no other options in here, which is kind of disappointing. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. But let's move on and let's see what else do we have. Underneath here you have a bunch of shortcut buttons, so in case you don't like to use that touchscreen, you can go map, navigation, radio, media, basically what you had in the main menu. As far as the seek and track, that's adjusting for your radio stations, you know, different tracks that you might have. By the way, there's no CD player pretty much in any of the cars recently that I've seen. So the tracks would be for like your Bluetooth audio or your, you know, iPad or iPod. This is customizable as well, and here's your shortcut to a setup button. And of course you have another screen over here that displays basically your climate control. So this is the temperature. You can adjust the different settings for the climate control, and you can turn on the heated steering wheel, which is right here. This is your start stop button. And by the way, you do have individual heated and ventilated seats on this trim, so this is pretty nice and useful depending on which climate you live in. Now right over here, this you can open, and you have this wireless charger as well as the USB type A, USB type C, and the regular 12-volt power outlet. Additional storage over here, cup holders. Of course, the gear shifter is the traditional one. I kind of like it, and you can put it in the manual mode, basically, you know, going all the way to drive and switching it over to the left, and then you're able to actually shift the gears in the manual mode. Put it in park. Back here, that's where you change the gear, the different drive modes. So you have Smart, Sport, Comfort, Eco, and Snow, and then you can lock your differential over here and turn off your automatic engine on-off feature, turn on or on your parking sensors, and you have the auto hold for the brakes as well as the electronic parking brake. Moving down here, more storage, deep, really nice. You can fit a lot of stuff in here. And then you have the USB-C down below. And then one thing we didn't check out, we'll put it in reverse. What do we have? A rear view camera. Now on this trim level, you only have the regular rear view camera, and it does give you two different angles, basically top down and the wide angle. That's in case you were towing. And over here you have basically the backup sensors and the front sensors. That is pretty much it. You don't have the surround view camera on this trim. I believe you have to go to the SX or above to get that. Now let's look around and see how this vehicle looks. I like this multi-tier dashboard. Now this is all soft, kind of vinyl material. Now you have this trim that we've seen on the doors and front and the back, and you have this trim that connects both the middle and the side vents. Moving down below, of course, you have the regular glove box over here, and up here, what do we have? LED lights. You can have your Kia Connect, which I believe used to be called a UVO, right? So now it's called Kia Connect, and then you have your regular sunroof. Now this is not panoramic sunroof. You have to go, I believe, SX Prestige to get those dual split sunroofs. So this is it. This is the interior of this new 2023 Kia Telluride. Let's see how it drives. Guys, we're about to take this vehicle for a spin. Before we do that, I just want to touch on something. Now, Kia hasn't updated their website as far as the specs and the pricing for the 2023 Telluride as the time of this filming. So I have the copy of the sticker over here. So this 2023 Telluride EX X-Line V6 all-wheel drive starts at $45,485. So there's also two trim levels above it, which is the SX and SX Pro. And now this particular one, with the equipment that's been added to it, has a total MSRP of $47,725. So if you are curious of what it is, I'm going to post all of it in the description of this video. So just open it up at the bottom. You'll see exactly what I'm sitting in today. So there's different trim levels that are available. I know there's an S and the LX and the EX, which is this one, and then there's an X-Line, then SX. So I mean, you have different trim levels that are available. I think they're going to top over $50,000 starting this year. Now I know that you can equip the previous generation SX Prestige. That's going to be about $55,000. I think they're going to beat that this year. We're going to see when they update the website. This dealership, Kettle Kia of Bradenton, has another one that's coming in. That's an SX Prestige. That's the top of the line. So I'm going to try to get that. Hopefully it's not going to be sold before it gets to the dealership, and show you the different features on that one versus what we have here. So let's take this for a spin. First things first, I'm going to do a complete 360. So we're going to check it out, how tight the turning radius is. Obviously it hasn't changed from the previous generation one, and from what I remember, I liked it. Well, turn the wheel all the way to the right and let's go. So we have parking spots. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 parking spots. That's actually pretty darn good for the size of this vehicle. This is a mid-size SUV. So that competes in the category of Honda Pilot, Honda Palisade, of course. They have the Toyota Highlander. Those are the closest competitors to it. Let's see how it drives. Sitting up high, I've always liked this, you know, on the Telluride, that it's so square, so you can see the hood. You can almost see like where it ends, and it kind of gives you the markers so you know when you're parking or you're getting close to it. Well, of course you have the you know, the parking sensor, so that's gonna help you out a little bit with that. Overall, it's a good and positive feeling sitting and driving this vehicle. You sit up higher, you have this commanding view of the road, you have a good visibility on the sides through the mirror over here. The only obstruction you would have if there was a person sitting in the third row seat and in the middle, of course, but that would be with every single vehicle. Now, I feel like it does have a little bit of noise coming from the outside, maybe because we're on this kind of crappy road over here, so hopefully that's just the reason for it, but nothing else. Nice thing about this too, right in your instrument cluster, you have a speed zone, like right now we're just entered the school speed zone, which we're turning around from, and it says speed zone 20 miles per hour. So you don't have to look at the sign, it's gonna tell you right on the instrument cluster. I'm gonna stop this vehicle right here and try the acceleration really quick. Let's go. Get it up to about 55 miles an hour. I really can't go any faster here as in the residential area. 45 is the speed limit here, so that's about it. And you know, it feels good. I mean, it's not a race car, it's not a performance one, it's never meant to be that, but it's definitely substantial if you're looking for a regular drive, you know, merging in traffic, driving in the regular conditions, and you do it in style. I love this new interior, and here it was a good example of a lane keep assist at work. I was trying to turn without putting the turn signal on. It kind of, you know, put me back in my place, say, hey, it's either put the turn signal, indicate that you're turning, or stay in your lane. And that's what it's designed to do. But I love the screens. I didn't think that it was going to make that much of a difference, but they do. The screens are awesome. They're dual screens, as I mentioned before. We went over the features of it, and if I put that map on it, it looks great. I really like it. So one quick thing to do is we're going to hit the brakes hard. It pretty much stops on the dime, no question about it. Good braking, good acceleration. Here's a turning. See if there's any body roll over here. A little bit, but not crazy. The suspension is actually absorbing it quite nice. Now, this particular one does have the rear self-leveling suspension. There's nothing really in the front different than on even the base Telluride, but it feels pretty good. It feels pretty solid. The steering wheel, you know, it's not only good to the touch, but as far as turning it, it definitely has that power steering and the steering assist, but it's not too light, so you can still feel that. Overall, a very impressive feeling. Kia has done it again. They improved upon something that was already very good, so great job on it. Guys, if you're anywhere in Florida, if you're looking to purchase a vehicle, they just got a shipment of several of those Tellurides here at Gettle Kia of Bradenton. I'm going to post their link and the phone number in the description of this video, so if you are interested, or if you're in the market shopping for a vehicle like this, give them a call. Good group of people. They're gonna help you out. Also, if you like watching videos like this but haven't checked out the rest of my channel, do so. And if you like it, consider subscribing. If you like this video as much as I like making it for you, go ahead, give me a thumbs up. Well, it means a lot to me. I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.